Today we are testing one of the best value graphics cards you can get, and it's the RX 7800 XT from Sapphire Pulse. It comes in a box. I know it's crazy. It's also pretty slick design. Let me just pop it into my case. And that's it. Okay, now let me tell you about the performance I have gotten in my first week of using the card. If you only want to know about the card's performance or let's say power usage, you can skip parts of the video because I have chapters down below. But overall the video is just my opinion on the card, so there is nothing you really want to miss. So let me start off by saying that I've not had any issues related to the card. Now you also have to know that I undervolted the card from 1150 millivolts to 1120. This change usually makes the temps just a bit better. So my temps at idle were from 30 to 40 degrees and 50 for the hotspot. And when playing most games and maxing out my card, I had around 65 degrees and up to, and when I say up to, I mean the max I have really gotten was 85 degrees on hotspot. Now I couldn't easily got lower temps with faster fan speeds. My fans are on about 40%, or in other words 14 to 1600 RPM, so you can definitely hear them, but they are still pretty quiet. Now with increasing the fan speeds to let's say 60%, my temperatures decrease from 5 to 10 degrees on both hotspot and the main GPU temperature, but that means that fans are a bit louder, but still, there is no way you can hear them if you're gaming with headphones. Now, let's talk about power usage. For some reason, this card draws 70 watts on idle, don't know why, but it is what it is. When gaming, you get from 200 to 275 watts of usage, so normal numbers for this card. Nothing crazy. Now let's talk about performance. I've had a Radeon 7 before, and this card is a game changer. Before I played Helldivers on 1080p medium graphics and my card would be running like a jet engine. I also got like only 80 FPS or something. Now I play at 1440p ultra settings and get 80 FPS, and my card stays at max 85 degrees on hotspot. Also fans are still quite quiet. So if you have a 3 years old graphics card, you'll definitely see the difference in overall performance. Now let's talk about in-game performance. These are also all the specs I use for testing the graphics card. Okay, so this is Apex Legends on ultra settings. Everything is maxed and the card just destroys it. Maximum FPS. Because my monitor is 144 Hz, so I didn't even bother to test the lower graphics. We still have like 75 watts left for the card to use, or even more sometimes, so I think we would get around 200 FPS plus. A 200 FPS experience on all settings maxed out on 1440p in Apex Legends. Now this is Medieval Dynasty, an open world game on ultra settings. And I'm also in like areas where you will get the least amount of FPS. So this is the worst case scenario for your FPS. So at ultra settings we are getting from 90, okay, now it's animation, so this doesn't count. Okay, so it was around 90 FPS. This is on high settings, and we are getting from 110 to 120 FPS mostly, even higher. This is on medium, it's crazy. We are getting like 160 FPS, so this is definitely more than enough. So I would really stick to the high setting for this game. And now let's see at the low 180, but my graphics card is not even maxed and this recording broke, so we would probably get around 230 FPS around that area. Now let's talk about the most anticipated game in this series, and it's the Helldivers. So this is on ultra settings and I'm getting around 70 FPS, so I lied before, I'm not getting 80 but 70, so this is still a decent experience, but I would preferably switch to high, which you can see here. These settings get us around 85 FPS, which is definitely playable and I think is the sweet spot for Helldivers, so I usually play at this resolution and at these settings. And now let's see medium. So it's not a big jump, about 5 to 10 FPS difference, so I don't think medium is really great. I would rather stick with high. Now the low for the FPS grinders, 140 FPS, but the textures are really bad and overall it's really bad. So if you want a better experience and high FPS, I would definitely turn on anti-aliasing. You lose around 5 FPS, but in my opinion the game looks much better. So for the high FPSs, just go to low and turn on anti-aliasing. The next game on the list is Fortnite, and this clip is with nanite and lumen, which are together super costly for the system. So this is like unplayable on this graphics card. We're hitting around 50 FPS ish. Yeah, it's a bit junky, so around 50 from 40 to 60, but generally I would never use this for playing Fortnite. It might look like pretty as hell, but don't use it. Now, disclaimer for all the future Fortnite clips, because they're all captured with the strongest anti-aliasing method, which is quite taxing on the system. So in real world performance, those clips would be even higher in FPS. You'll see at the last one. Here is Fortnite on Ultra without nanite and lumen, and we can already see a huge difference in FPS. We're averaging around 100 FPS, which is much better than before, and I still wouldn't use this for Fortnite, but if you like great graphics, I guess you can use this. These are high graphics, as you can see here, and we are getting 120 to 130 FPS, which is definitely playable for Fortnite. So yeah, that's a great setting to use. Fortnite in medium is, in my opinion, pretty bad, because I have seen high before, and in my opinion high is really much better, but we are getting 160 FPS right now. So yeah, it's a personal choice, personal preference, whatever you choose. And here is Fortnite on low graphics. We're hitting 190 FPS, so I would definitely choose low instead of medium, because you are only focusing on FPS. So yeah, better to have 190 instead of 160 for some graphic exchange. If you're already sacrificing the graphics, I would definitely choose low instead of medium. And now here's Fortnite in low settings and with the lowest amount of anti-aliasing, and it looks like almost blurry, but as you can see, we are getting 320 FPS. So yes, if you're a sweat, I guess, if you grind Fortnite, you can use this because you don't really care about the graphics. Yeah, that's about Fortnite. And now one of my favorite games of all, and it's Battlefield 5, and we are hitting 144 FPS on ultra settings, and it wouldn't let me to get past my monitor FPS, so this is not even the max. We would get around 200, I think, because we still have some percentage on the graphics card. If you play this game, just use ultra settings with this graphics card. And also another quick note, if your CPU is like maxing out, which happened to me, you just have to change your mouse detecting rate, or whatever it's called, let's say from 1000 to 125. You can do that in your mouse software. So in conclusion, there is a lot of older or lighter titles you can play on ultra settings on 1440p, but generally for a nice gaming experience from about 80 to 90 for newer titles, I would choose high settings. But if you want some more FPS on newer titles, just play with the settings a bit and you'll get that nice 100 to 140 FPS experience. The card is pretty powerful overall. Now, I definitely don't regret my purchase, even though it was 520 euros here in Europe, because the prices are a bit shit. But switching from a 3-year-old GPU, it is a big leap in performance. If you have a 3-year-old GPU or even older and you are planning on buying a new graphics card, this is a really strong option to choose from. But if you have a 1 or 2-year-old GPU, I would maybe wait for another generation, because there's a lot of people talking that the new generation will be much better, even from Intel and Nvidia. If you're by any chance looking for a new keyboard and you're on a budget, this is one of the best ones you can get right here on the screen.